Dear students, today our topic is methods of family planning. So
Here
this
we
is
will
part
see
2, mainly the intrauterine devices. So once again I want to revise this contraceptive methods. Already we have seen this one. So under spacing method we are having barrier methods, intrauterine device, hormonal method, post-conceptive methods and miscellaneous. Coming to the terminal methods, that is permanent family planning, in that male sterilization vasectomy is there and female sterilization tubectomy is there. So already we have seen under spacing method barrier method has been completed. Next we will move on to intrauterine device. So in this class we are going to see IUD, that is intrauterine device. See the classification of intrauterine device. There are two classification, main classification, non-medicated and medicated. So under non-medicated, first generation, example Lippis loop. Then medicated IUD, that is intrauterine devices, second generation and third generation. For example, for second generation, copper IUD. For third generation, hormonal IUD. So we will see here in detail about this intrauterine devices, that is first generation, second generation and third generation. The first generation, so they are inert or non-medicated devices made up of polyethylene. So mainly here the non-medicated devices using in this first generation intrauterine device. So different shapes and size will be available here. Lippis loop. So here you can see the picture at right side. So here the double S-shaped devices made up of polyethylene material. It is non-toxic, non-tissue reactive, extremely durable. Then small amount of barium sulfate is also added for radiological examination. So small amount of barium sulfate will be there, and available sizes or 4 sizes will be there: A, B, C and D. So coming to failure rate, so 3 to 5 per 100 women in year. So we can failure rate also less, only 3 to 5. This is first generation intrauterine device. Then coming to second generation intrauterine device, here this is made up of metal, that is copper, and yearly devices copper 7, copper T200, and newer devices are variant of T devices. So you can see at right side of the picture, so copper T, so it is T in shape, and variant devices also available: T copper 220C, T copper 380A, Nova T, multi-load devices, ML copper 250, ML copper 375. So nowadays the most oftenly the copper T 380A are using. Then failure rate, so the less failure rate comparing to the first generation, here 0.8 per 100 women in year. So less amount of failure rate is available here. Then intrauterine contraceptives, that is Genefix, frameless and flexible. So this is less pain and bleeding. So non-biodegradable suture thread, 6 copper tubes. So you can see at right side of the picture. So in that you can see the 6 tubes of copper and 5 mm into 2.2 mm surface area will be present, and special inserting devices to anchor knot into fundal myometrium. So the knot also will be available, special inserting devices to anchor knot into fundal myometrium, suitable for nulliparas and expulsion less than other IUDC. Then coming to third generation intrauterine devices, here hormone releasing intrauterine devices. Here there are two main classification, that is progestate and second is LNG20 Minera. So most commonly used is progestastat. So T-shaped devices here also will be there. You can see at right side of the picture, you can see that filled with 38 mg of progesterone. So here progesterone hormone will be available, releasing rate that is 65 milligram per day, effective for 1 year. So only 1 year it is effective. So mainly hormone, progesterone hormone will be filled in this intrauterine device. Then LNG20, in that releases 20 milligram of levonorgestrel. One hormonal is there that also releasing, that is effective for 5 years, and effective rate is 99%. Failure rate is 0.2 per 100 women in years. Next we will see the mechanism of action of intrauterine devices. So first one is first generation intrauterine devices. So here, due to the insertion of intrauterine devices, there will be cellular and biochemical changes take place. So changes will be there in biochemical and cellular. So it will be in endometrium, so that is inner layer of the uterus. Due to the biochemical and cellular changes, the gamete, that is ovum, cannot be survived. So if ovum cannot be survived, then it leads to failure of fertilization. So there is no any fertilization will be there. Then coming to the second generation intrauterine devices, in that emission of copper ions from the copper T, that is from the intrauterine devices, the emission of copper ions will be there. It affects the uterine enzymes. Mainly here the uterine enzymes will be affects. So alteration of biochemical composition of mucosa. So in the biochemical mucosa there will be some alteration is present due to the copper ions. So copper ions may affect the sperm motility and survival. It affects the sperm motility, which leads to the failure of fertilization. Then next is third generation intrauterine devices, that is hormone releasing intrauterine devices. So cervical mucus will become more viscosity, that is the mucosa will be very density, thick in dense. So density will be very thick, the cervical mucosa will be very thick, so it leads to, which leads to less motility of sperm, that is prevents sperm from entering the cervix. So sperm entry will be impaired, it leads to no any fertilization. So this is the mechanism of action. So this is the way the intrauterine devices preventing the fertilization. Next we will see the effectiveness of intrauterine devices. So this intrauterine devices is one of the most effective reversible contraceptive method. So this is the effective one. So we will see some of the effectiveness. So progestastat, this is one of the intrauterine device which will be effective up to 12 to 18 months, and copper T 200 is 4 years duration, and Nova T is 5 years duration, and copper T 380A is 10 years duration, and levonorgestrel is 5 years duration. So this is the effective one. It will be, the duration will be higher than the other method of contraceptives. Next we will see the advantages of intrauterine devices. It is a safe, effective and reversible, inexpensive also, high continuation rate. And coming to disadvantages of intrauterine devices, heavy bleeding and pain will be there. Then pelvic inflammatory disease and ectopic pregnancy. Ectopic pregnancy is nothing. Pregnancy that is developing the fetus out of the uterus and may come out accidentally if not properly inserted, that is expulsion. Chances for the expulsion. These are all the disadvantages of intrauterine devices. Then so coming to complication is very common due to the intrauterine devices insertion. So we will see one by one. Bleeding, pain, pelvic infection, uterine perforation. Perforation is nothing but due to the insertion of intrauterine devices there will be hole or some tears will be present inside the uterus, that is perforation. Then pregnancy, may be after inserting the intrauterine devices also chance for getting pregnant. And ectopic pregnancy already we have seen in disadvantage, so it will be the development of the fetus out of the uterus. And expulsion means removal of intrauterine devices, maybe sometime it will remove by itself. Then fertility after removal, chance of getting pregnant after removal. So after removal, so chance for the fertility. Then cancer, mortality, that is death rate. Due to intrauterine devices there is less chance of death rate. Then also one of the complication is mortality. Of insertion, so inserted with a plunger anytime during women's reproductive period except in pregnancy. So except in pregnancy we can insert anytime. Most ideal time is during or within 10 days of beginning of menstruation. The diameter of cervical cavity is greater at this time. So main time is within or during. So in beginning of the menstruation time, that time only, the ideal time, that time only you have to insert the intrauterine devices. Then ideal intrauterine devices candidate, so who has born at least one child, those who are all having one child you can insert this IUD. Then has no history of pelvic inflammatory disease, then has normal menstruation periods, willing to check intrauterine device tail, then has an access to follow up and treatment of potential problems, those who are all accepting for the potential problem. Then is in monogamous relationship. For these people you should have the you can insert the intrauterine devices. Then timing of insertion, maybe after childbirth, immediately after a delivery of placenta, post placental insertion, 4 to 6 weeks after birth also you can insert. So immediately after placenta also you can insert, or 4 to 6 weeks after childbirth also you can insert the intrauterine devices. Then after spontaneous or induced abortion, so after first trimester of abortions, maybe aseptic, after second trimester abortion it is advisable to wait till involution of uterus is complete. Then already we have seen can be inserted anytime during menstrual cycle if reasonably sure that woman is not pregnant, that is very important. Then insertion during menstruation offers following advantages. So mainly we are having some advantages, particularly during the menstrual cycle we are inserting this intrauterine devices, that is pregnancy is ruled out, so we can sure that the candidate is not at all and pregnant. Then insertion is easier due to open cervical canal, so in this time during the menstrual time the cervical canal will be greater or wider, so we can insert in a easy manner. Then any minor bleeding caused by insertion is less likely to upset the client. So minor bleeding may be the common one. So during the menstruation if you are inserting this intrauterine devices means it is common problem, the client will not get any kind of upset. Information to the client after copper T insertion. So what are the information you should give, that is she can accept some cramping for a day or two after insertion. So 1 or 2 days she will have cramping pain or vaginal discharge for a few weeks after incision. Vaginal discharge also will be present, or heavier menstrual period with possible bleeding between the menstrual periods during first few months. So first few months she feel the severe menstrual bleeding. Then follow-up visit after 3 to 6 weeks or after next menstrual period. So we have to ask her for follow-up visit, maybe the next menstrual period. Next time when the menstrual period is coming, that time you come for the follow-up. Like that you should give instruction and information about kind of intrauterine devices and when to have her IUD removed or replaced. So you have to instruct. Example 10 years means you have to instruct about the years. Then when she should see a nurse or a doctor after intrauterine device, maybe missed menstrual period. So if the menstrual period is absent, not having the regular menstrual period, that time lower abdominal pain, vaginal discharge, fever, or missed intrauterine string. So she can feel the string. String is nothing, it is a tail like, thread like portion will be present. So that if it is not present means that time also she have to come and approach the doctor. And very heavy and prolonged bleeding that bothers her. So if she is having very heavy bleeding or prolonged bleeding, that time also she have to come and visit the hospital. Thank you.